Morning, Justin. Hope you're going well. Jimmy from Nine.
Hey, Jimmy.
Just wondering, do you think the club definitely got it wrong playing by last week with that hammy? It was a little bit too soon for him to come back?
No, I don't. And yeah, I know there's a lot of commentary around Nathan's hammy at the moment. It's not unusual for players to play after 1 week with a hammy. It's happened a lot in our history. It's happening a lot around the AFL at the moment. Just to give you some understanding around Nathan's hammy, he was past fit to play Tuesday after his rehab session where he ticked all the protocols that we assess hammies with. That gave him a full week of training going into the game. It's unfortunate that he's re-injured a hammy and got another hamstring injury, but I don't think it's unprecedented that players play after 1 week. We're seeing it with Luke Shuey at West Coast this week. He's missed one game. There's a lot of 1 week hamstrings across the comp at the moment. So no, I don't think it was a mistake. It's unfortunate that and we wish he didn't re-injure his hammy, but I wouldn't take it back.
Do you think the club needs to look at injury protocols and the way they are treating them? Because obviously Fife just won, Hogan, Conker all have soft tissue injuries. It's becoming a bit of an issue.
Well, yeah, of course we're constantly reviewing our processes, our practices around injuries. Clearly, we'd like a fitter list to choose from. It's something that we're constantly reviewing, and everyone at the club's responsible for that, including myself. So we're reviewing the way we do our programming, the way we train, the way we play. It all filters into the injuries we've got at the moment. So, of course, we'd like a fitter list. So we're constantly reviewing those protocols and practices.
Hi, Justin. It's Beck from 10. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Just on injuries, we saw another hamstring last night. Is this season just going to be one of those seasons where we see more and more hamstring injuries? And what reason do you think that is?
Well, I'm not. I think it is one of those years. I think all lists are going to be tested with their depth, and injuries are going to play a big part in the season. Clearly, I think the lack of preparation and the ability for our players to train is going to be a big factor. We're not doing much contact as a group now. We're barely training together, but we've come into the restart of the season off a really short prep as well. So we're going to continue to see a lot of injuries, unfortunately, and it's the way it is, I suppose. So we just got to need to make sure that we're really diligent with our week to week with our recovery and making sure we're looking after our players, because it's going to play a big part in the outcome of the season.
How has the adjustment been from hub life to home quarantine? Have you noticed a difference in the players? Have you noticed a difference on the track? How's the adjustment been?
It's been good. We've fitted back into the program really well. The players are enjoying being back home around families and back around the club. I'm probably seeing a lot less of them at the moment, given that I'd see them all day, pretty much every day at the hub. But they're escaping from the club to get home and spending time by themselves and with loved ones. So they've adjusted really well. They seem really happy to be home, but really focused on what we need to do this weekend. So we thoroughly enjoyed our time up in the Gold Coast, but it's great to be home with loved ones and see our families and sleep in our own houses again.
Justin, Tom from the ABC. Mate, your first derby as coach, how much extra pressure comes with knowing that it's going to be all Dockers fans and a home derby, the only one of the season?
To be honest, I don't really feel that pressure, to be honest. I mean, we've got the pressure of expectation and performance week in, week out, and we're on a journey that we're continually trying to improve on what we are doing week to week, and that's no different this week. We're really excited and really fortunate to be able to play in front of our home crowd this week for the first time this year. But really, we're just trying to build on what we dished up last week against St Kilda. So there's a lot of positive in our performances last week, and a few areas we need to improve on. So we're just trying to build week to week, and that doesn't change this week just because it's a derby.
Just back on Jimmy's point with Nathan being out, is this the week that Connor Blakely will come into the side, or is that decision yet to be made?
Our decision's yet to be made. We're still got a few decisions to make at match committee. Clearly we don't play till Sunday, so we'll sit down as a match committee a little bit later on and discuss what the team looks like. Clearly there's going to be two people come in. Pretty safe to say that Brendan Cox will come in for Hayden Young. The other position in the team we're still in discussions on.
George, you're up.
Sorry, mate, I was muted then. G'day, Justin. How are you?
Good, mate.
You've got 3 potential debutants on the extended bench. What are the chances of seeing a Derby debutant? We got Frederick Watson and Meek who are all on the extended bench. Have you confirmed that any of those guys will play this weekend?
As I said, we're still in discussions on that. I think it's a chance. Clearly, Lloyd Meek's there as backup for Sean Darcy. We fully expect Sean to play, so it's unlikely to be him at this stage. Although we've been really impressed with the way he's been training, but also the way he's been rucking in our reserves games against some really good opponents in the Gold Coast and Brisbane reserves. So he'll get his chance at some stage, but we expect Darcy to play. As I said, the other spot in the team for who replaces Nat is still up in the air. So as soon as we make that decision, we'll let everyone know.
How frustrating is it to have guys like Logan Young go down? Logan was probably having a career best year and Young was just starting to find his feet at AFL level. How frustrating is that as a coach to see 2 young guys really making their way in the AFL go down?
Yeah, it is. It's disappointing, especially more so for those 2, but also for us as a footy club, because you're right, they are young players, and the best development we can get into those young players at the moment is by playing them and allowing them to experience what it's like to play on different players in the AFL and play against different teams. So to take that experience away from them is not ideal given where they're at in their careers. So, they'll rehab, they'll come back bigger, better, stronger, and they'll find their way back into the team when it's ready. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing for them 2 in particular.
G'day, Justin. It's Chadden's here. Good to see you again.
Yeah, mate.
You being a proud Fremantle man yourself, how hard is it seeing the current Derby streak as it is, and how much are you thinking about that going into this weekend?
Well, to be honest, I haven't given it much thought at all. Clearly I haven't been here and coached a Derby yet, so what has happened in the past is in the past as far as I'm concerned. We're fully focused on what we can do on Sunday, and like I said before, we're focused on building our footy and improving on what we did in round 6. So I understand the frustration and the want for a win from our members and supporters, and I feel that, but what's happened in the past is not really consuming my time at the moment. What I'm more worried about Sunday and building on what we've done in round 6.
And Sean Darcy, before he got injured last week, he was on the verge of a really breakout game. How close do you think he is to being able to put together a patch of football that really lifts up to his potential, I guess?
Yeah, I think he's coming to a time in his career where he's really physically and mentally mature enough to compete week in, week out at AFL footy, and unfortunately that's been stopped by some injuries. And clearly a head knock last week. I thought he was the best player on the ground, and clearly our best player on the ground before he got injured. So I'm just really loving the way he's competing, the way he's applying himself to the next contest. We're really starting to see some of that physicality that he possesses come to the fore. And he was rewarded with 3 shots on goal in the first 40 minutes of the game last week. So I'm just hoping that he can get some continuity with his footy so that he can start building his consistency and start finding his feet into the season. He's just been interrupted at every post so far. So fingers crossed that he can get some continuity with his footy.
Time to cycle back through for one more each if there's any outstanding guys. So Jimmy, starting with you.
JL, just on West Coast, they seem to have turned the corner. What have you identified going into the game? How do you knock them off?
I think it's the most important thing, and probably the most important thing is most games is we get the contest right. I think over the last couple of weeks they've really improved their contest method and their intensity at the man and the ball. So we need to make sure we get that area of the game right. Was clearly an area we didn't get right at the start of the game last week. And I think that contest work that they've improved on is allowing them to play the game in their front half, which is allowing them to set their back line up. I mean, McGovern was outstanding last week, and their backs look to be really working together as a collective. So, a lot of our effort and focus has gone into our contest method and trying to get the game played in our front half.
Justin, it's Beck again. I know I saw a little video of you playing golf with Simo this week, and just wondered if that means you have one up on him, given it looked like your drive was a lot better than his.
Well, actually, we did. We had to do a little promo for Queensland government and the AFL while we're up there. I mean, clearly I've got a relationship with Simo, having worked under him for 7 years or 5 years. I don't know whether I had one up on him though. I think he ended up getting me in the longest drive. So. It was a bit of fun. Got a new driver out of it, so I was pretty happy.
Justin, Tom again. Just on that relationship with Simo, do you have any kind of insight into how to beat his game plan, having worked under him and then coached against him in a grand final as well when you were at Collingwood?
I'd like to think I know their game plan. There are a lot of vols in AFL footy though. There's a lot of faces in that team that weren't in the team when I was there, and teams are constantly evolving. So even though I feel like I've got a good feel on the way they play and the way they go about things, there's a lot would have changed since I was there. And as I said before, we're really focused. A lot of our attention is focused on our footy at the moment for where we are in our journey. So. We're just trying to get that balance of focusing on the opposition and focusing on us and making sure we don't go too far either way, really. And that's been the same for the first 6 rounds. It won't change for this year. I wouldn't have thought either.
Geordie, do you want to jump in before my question?
I've just got one more quick one, JL. On Toby Watson, do you feel like he is good to go for a debut? He was obviously pretty close in round 1. I think he was one of the travelling emergencies there. How have you seen his sort of form heading into this week?
Yeah, I think he's ready to play, and I think his form warrants an opportunity at AFL level. Since I got to the football club, I don't think there's been a player on our list that has grown more in confidence and more with their footy ability than Toby. He's got some real strengths that'll hold him in good stead at AFL footy. Whether he gets his opportunity this week or not, it doesn't really change that. He's really improving week in, week out, and he'll get his opportunity at some stage.
And just touching on Darcy again, it's going to be taking on Natanui for the first time in AFL rank. How do you think he'll go in that sense, and what does he need to do to match it with such a unique ruckman that Natanui is?
Well, of course I think he's ready, and I think he can do the job. I've been really impressed with his competitiveness, both in the ruck but also at ground level over the last couple of games he's played. Clearly, we need to stop Nick's ruck dominance at centre bounce. It's something that leads to a lot of their field position. So he needs to give our mids an opportunity at ground level, which I'm confident he can. And then he just needs to play his game around the ground, which is strong follow up, strong spread, support us at our long down the lines, and just execute his role, which I'm really confident he can do. He'll have the support of Rory Lobb, who's been a good ruckman for us this year also. So, I'm confident Sean can do the job.
Cool. Cheers, JL. Thanks for that.
Oh, is that okay? Can I ask one more?
Go for it.
Okay, Justin, I know you don't want to look back on it or anything, but I guess what's the difference in the lead up to a derby as a player and now as a coach? Does it feel any different? I mean, I know players tend to play it down, that it's got that extra feel in it. But in the lead up to this derby, I know you've had a lot of other distractions. Do you still have that little butterflies in your tummy type feel that you would have as a player?
Not really. Probably because I'm more consumed in the process as a coach. So you don't allow yourself to get too distracted. I might be able to do that maybe Saturday or Sunday on game day. Just think about the crowd and coaching at Optus. But at the moment, it's just I'm so invested in making sure our players are preparing well that I haven't really been able to look forward too much to the game just yet. And it's just such a different experience this year with doing media conferences like this and no real media at training, no coaches press conference together. It's just been such a different year that we've had to adapt to, and we've adapted to really well. But I mean, it's just it's a bit of an odd year and a bit of an odd build up to a derby in some sense, given the situation. So, having said that, we're really fortunate that we get to play in front of a crowd. I thought the crowd last night in the Geelong-Collingwood game added a great atmosphere, even watching from home. So we're really fortunate to be playing in front of crowds this early in the season. So I'm looking forward to putting our best foot forward in front of 30,000 Fremantle supporters on the weekend.